Australia has signed a production contract with French shipbuilder Naval Group for a fleet of 12 new submarines worth 50 billion Australian dollars or $35.5 billion US dollars, ending a 2-year wrangle that cast doubt over one of the world's most lucrative defence deals. Australia selected the French builder as its preferred bidder for the fleet of submarines in 2016, ahead of other offers from Japan and Germany. However, final contracts were delayed amid domestic media reports of cost blowouts and production delays. Australia and Naval Group signed a strategic partnering agreement, the overall contract to guide the construction to end the impasse. Australia's 12 new submarines are at the centre of its plan to significantly expand its military to protect strategic and trade interests in the Asia-Pacific region. The first of the new submarines is scheduled to be delivered in the early 2030s and the final vessel during the 2050s.
Our sovereignty and our strategic autonomy, and the result of immense investments.
Samoa is the first Pacific Island country who has been named as a 2019 country champion for the treatment of all campaign by the Union of International Cancer Control. The president of Samoa Cancer Society said the challenges developing countries face is providing timely and quality treatment for people diagnosed with cancer.
And plan for the type of profile.
Samoa Cancer Society is doing all they can to help raise awareness of cancer in the country. On an international level, they have been selected by the Union of International Cancer Control, the first and only Pacific Island country for more than 50 countries and over 100 organizations.
As well as palliative care, but focus on treatment.
The president of Samoa Cancer says increasing the number of people with access to early detection and accurate cancer diagnosis is one of the challenges they face. In 2017, 89 patients were referred to Samoa Cancer Society. 19% were women who had been diagnosed with breast cancer. 4 have died, and only 4 women known to the society were successfully treated following early detection and presentation to the hospital. Samoa Cancer Society says their priority is to provide timely and quality treatment, and Samoa Cancer Society says the international appointment has a number of benefits, and the aim going forward is to ensure progress in support services and access to medical treatment is available in Samoa.
Patients were referred to Samoa Cancer Society. 19% were women who had been diagnosed with breast cancer. 4 have died.
Venezuela's most successful financial operations in recent years have not taken place on Wall Street, but in primitive gold mining camps in the nation's southern reaches. With the country's economy in meltdown, an estimated 300,000 fortune hunters have descended on this mineral-rich jungle area to earn a living pulling gold-flecked earth from makeshift mines. Their picks and shovels are helping to prop up the leftist government of President Nicolas Maduro. Since 2016, his administration has purchased 17 tons of the metal, worth around $650 million, from so-called artisan miners, according to the most recent data from the nation's central bank. Paid with the country's near-worthless banknotes, these amateurs in turn supply the government with hard currency to purchase badly needed imports of food and hygiene products. This gold trade is a blip on international markets. Still, the United States is using sanctions and intimidation in an effort to stop Maduro from using his nation's gold to stay afloat. U.S. sanctions have hammered the nation's oil industry and crippled its ability to borrow. The formal mining sector has been decimated by nationalization, so Maduro has unleashed freelance prospectors to extract the nation's mineral wealth with virtually no regulation or state investment. Mining accidents are common in these ramshackle operations, workers say. So are shootings and robberies. Maduro has also received a crucial assist from Turkish President Recep Erdogan, a fellow strongman who has likewise sparred with the Trump administration. Venezuela sells most of its gold to Turkish refineries, then uses some of the proceeds to buy that nation's consumer goods, according to people with direct knowledge of the trade. Turkish pasta and powdered milk are now staples in Maduro's subsidized food program. Trade between the two nations grew 8-fold last year. But scrutiny is intensifying as Venezuela's politics reach the boiling point. In recent days, many Western countries have recognized Venezuela's opposition leader, Juan Guaido, as the South American nation's rightful president. Additionally, Maduro's adversaries have called on foreign buyers of Venezuela's precious metal to stop doing business with what they say is an illegitimate regime. A man was shot during violent protests in Port-au-Prince as Haitians continue to demonstrate against the state of the economy and corruption. In graphic images, a man can be seen lying on the ground, surrounded by other protesters after having been shot. Protesters also set fire to a vehicle, while other people looted a store in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. The protests come amidst public anger over suspected corruption and allegations of embezzlement of funds of PetroCaribe, a Venezuela-sponsored oil program. At the backdrop of the protests is a local economy that is stagnating, a failing currency, and soaring inflation. Protesters are calling for the resignation of President Jovenel Moïse. The choice of Vietnam as host of this month's summit between US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un shows the Southeast Asian nation is headed in the right direction, Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc said this week. Last week, Trump said he would hold his second meeting with Kim in the Vietnamese capital of Hanoi on February 27th and 28th. That follows an unprecedented June 11th summit of the two leaders in the wealthy city-state of Singapore. As Vietnam prepares for the summit, its reform model is being widely touted as the economic path for impoverished and isolated North Korea to follow. Last year, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said North Korea could follow the example of Vietnam, adding that Trump believed Pyongyang could replicate Hanoi's path to normal relations with Washington and to prosperity. Pakistan's Navy took part in multinational maritime exercise Aman 19 off the coast of Karachi as the at-sea phase of the 5-day event began. According to Pakistan, the navies of 46 nations are taking part in the exercise, which involves an at-port and at-sea base with a focus on maritime security, counter-terrorism and humanitarian assistance operation. The exercise is designed to develop and practice response tactics, techniques and procedures for maritime infrastructure and forces against traditional and non-traditional threats. Pakistan has held Aman naval drills since 2007, and this year's ended with a cultural show and food gala, in which all the participating nations showcased their national culture and cuisine. A fire engulfed a hotel this week in New Delhi, India, killing 17 people and injuring at least 4 others, local authorities said. The fire broke out in Arpit Palace Hotel in Karol Bagh, an area in India's capital city popular with tourists. Most of the deaths were believed to be caused by suffocation. The local fire department dispatched firefighters and 26 fire engines to the scene. The blaze was brought under control at around 7 a.m. and 46 people were reportedly pulled to safety. An investigation has been launched to determine what sparked the blaze, police said.
A pro soccer player in Australia who was detained by...
Hundreds of supporters welcomed refugee soccer player Hakim Al-Araibi home to Melbourne this week. The Bahraini national had been held in a Thai prison for more than 2 months after he was arrested during his honeymoon in Bangkok at the request of Bahrain. He's originally from Bahrain but took asylum in Australia. Bahrain put a request to arrest him on his honeymoon through Interpol last November but has now withdrawn it. They accused him of committing crimes during the Arab Spring protests of 2011, specifically vandalizing a police station, which he denies. And Araibi said he'd face torture if Thai authorities complied with Bahrain's request. It's not clear why Bahrain withdrew their request, and Thai authorities did not respond to a request for comment. The Australian government, civil rights groups like Amnesty International and even FIFA itself had all lobbied for his release. Human Rights Watch says Arabi was targeted by Bahraini authorities and tortured because of his brother's political activities during the Arab Spring.
Amnesty International and even FIFA itself had all lobbied for his release. Human Rights Watch says Araibi was targeted by Bahrain authorities and tortured because of his brother's political activities during the Arab Spring.
A fun games competition is held in Chiang Mai province to mark the end of farming season. Authorities of Talajai sub-district in Chiang Mai's Dok Seket district organised fun sports to boost unity and entertain people in 5 villages after their rice cultivation. The sports event took place at the sports field of Talajai municipality. Participants took part in fun sports including where they had to quickly eat 2 kilograms of noodles and drink fizzy drinks, burst balloons and prepare papaya salad while dancing. Natakorn Popluk, 13, from May Karnoa village, finished eating 2 kilograms of noodles first, while the first runner-up was Songkran Kun Saping, 25, from May Kaklang village. The balloon bursting game also entertained local people, as the balloons were very durable and contestants had to improvise their own techniques to break them. In the papaya salad dancing contest, participants showed off their steps and movements. Some even tossed their pestles, while some old contestants forgot about their age during the contest and demanded smelling salts afterwards. Indonesian police have apologized and pledged to take disciplinary action after officers draped a live snake around the neck of a suspect to persuade him to confess during an interrogation session. A video provided to Reuters and circulated online shows a man being questioned about stolen mobile phones, yelling in distress as a snake is pushed towards his face by an officer. During the interrogation, a voice can be heard ordering the man to open his eyes, and at one stage threatens to put the snake into his mouth and under his trousers. The incident happened in January in Jayawijaya, the easternmost area of Papua. Papuan police spokesman Ahmed Mustafa Kamal said the case was being investigated by the Internal Affairs Unit, and if violations of the law or code of conduct were proven, action would be taken. The Jayawijaya police chief also issued an apology. Reports of human rights abuses by security forces often emerge from Papua, a former Dutch colony that was incorporated into Indonesia after a widely criticized UN-backed referendum in 1969.
Yang bersangkutan dimintai keterangan, ini susah sekali. Jadi dia yang penyidik ini punya inisiatif untuk mengambil.
Over to the Philippines, where more than 4,300 suspected measles cases have been reported since January, with at least 70 deaths. In 2018, nearly 22,000 measles cases were reported in the Philippines, a 376% increase compared to 2017. In support of government-led efforts, the World Health Organization has provided technical support and funding to the National Immunization Program and is monitoring the implementation of the vaccination campaign to contain the outbreak. UN spokesperson Farhan Haq this week said a major measles outbreak in Metro Manila and central Luzon in the Philippines has now expanded to other areas. More than 4,300 suspected measles cases have been reported since January, with at least 70 deaths.
The National Immunization Program and is monitoring the implementation of the vaccination campaign to contain the outbreak.
All 47 Malaysians detained in Bantiai Menciai prison in Cambodia are reported to be in safe condition. Zunita Sedini, who is the mother of one of the detainees, said this after talking to her son Yusuf Islam Abdul Halik, 21, via a video call. She said she was relieved after knowing that her son and the other detainees were safe. She also thanked the Malaysian government for their continued effort to bring the 47 Malaysians back home. Zunita said she regretted the incident and advised fellow parents to be wary of job offers from abroad which offer lucrative salaries to ensure that such an incident does not befall their children. The Malaysian Foreign Ministry Wisma Putra this week confirmed that 47 Malaysians were being detained at Poi Pet, Cambodia since 11th December, but Banteay Meanchey police only formally informed them of the matter on 28th December. According to a statement, the Malaysians were detained on suspicion of involvement in illegal online gambling. Contestants have mimicked cranes for a winter festival in Japan's northernmost prefecture of Hokkaido. The event was held in the village of Surui, where red-crowned cranes spend the winter. The species is designated as one of Japan's special natural treasures. The participants included children and elderly people. In one contest, they mimicked the birds' calls, shouting into a microphone. Visitors laughed when some of the contestants tried to imitate cranes flapping their wings. In another contest, barefoot people wearing crane costumes stood on one leg in a small tub filled with snow and tried to stay upright for as long as possible. One of the winners said he feels he has become a red-crowned crane. He also said he was happy he could win after taking part for the second year in a row. Flocks of tourists were attracted to the mountains decorated with crystal clear rime and fantastic sea of clouds in East China's Jiangxi province and southwest China's Sichuan province. Mount Lushan in eastern China was turned into a fairyland with rime covering plants and glittering in a sea of cloud as the result of a cold current. Rime and seas of cloud also appeared on Huaying Mountain in southwestern China as the temperature dropped to -2 degrees Celsius, also drawing tourists to enjoy the scenery and take photos. A young girl was rescued after falling into a panda enclosure in southwest China, state media reported. State broadcaster CCTV showed video of a security guard first trying to rescue the girl in red with a stick, then leaning through a gap to hold the girl's hand and pull her out as pandas were approaching, with no apparent attempt to attack her. The incident took place at the Chengdu research base of giant panda breeding. The girl was not injured and the cause of the incident was still under investigation. A 2,000-year-old mummy made its way home to Peru after a museum in Texas returned it to the South American country after it had been in the U.S. for decades. The mummy was probably a 2 to 4-year-old child. Before making its way to Lima, the mummy had been housed at the Corpus Christi Museum of Science and History in Corpus Christi, Texas. The child mummy is wrapped in rope, with its arms and legs tucked in, with only the cranium and feet exposed. Thousands of cuttlefish have mysteriously washed up on shore in Chile's Bahia Inglesa amidst pollution fears in the coastal area that is one of the country's main tourist hotspots. Locals say such an incident has not happened before, and environmental authorities are investigating and have warned locals not to eat the fish. There are fears that the waves of dead fish could damage the region's fishing industry, a major driver of the local economy. Bahia Inglesa is a popular summer destination for Chile, with thousands attracted to the area's pristine beaches.